thank you very much, Livio. So, actually, this conference is a Melammu story because Livio and I first met on a Melammu conference. So it was a huge Melammu symposium organized at the campus of the American University in Beirut in 2017. So these were better times for Lebanon. We could even make a trip to Tyre and see the old cities, and the Estonians even managed to buy beer from Hezbollah at that time. So, maybe things are not as nice as they used to be anymore, but we had this conference on connecting Eastern and Western documents for understanding the history of the Levant. So, connecting evidence was the topic, and this is what the Melammu project always did. So the Melammu project arose in the 90s, and Simo Barbola, one of the foremost scholars in Neo-Assyrian study, was the spiritus mentor of this project, because he is a straightforward philologist who edited an amazing amount of texts and who put Neo-Assyrian studies on a completely new level. But in the 90s, he felt that there are too many restrictions between the fields, that people don't talk to each other and that they have relevant things to say to each other. And so it might be very characteristic that two of Simo's foremost students became not Assyriologists, but Old Testament, professor in Old Testament studies and professor in Arabic studies. And this was Jaakko Hemen-Anttila and Martin Issinen, who is now the foremost expert on prophecy in the ancient world. And from very early onwards, when Simo was working on the Neo-Assyrian prophecy texts, he shared his research with his student Martin Issinen, and he really built a career on this. And in Old Testament studies these days, everyone is convinced that you have to look at the cuneiform evidence all around ancient Israel. And this is something that is maybe slowly emerging in ancient history, that there are other sources not written in Greek and Latin that are relevant for this field. And so actually we could also describe as the Melammu project as acting with borderlands, borders between areas, borders between empires and non-empires, but also borderlands between scientific fields, and trying to overcome them. And, so this is very similar to the cluster of Eurasian transformation, into which Robert Wollinger also brought some Melammu spirit. So the Melammu project is a very loose organization, but quite successful thanks to active people like Livio in organizing symposia and workshops. So the Melammu project organizes larger annual symposia, so like the one I mentioned in Beirut in 2017. And during one symposia, several Stéphanie Antonios, a colleague from France, said she would be willing to organize something, but not such a huge symposium, maybe something smaller. And so we came up with the idea of Melammu Workshops that bring a smaller group of scholars together in a shorter, not like a 5-day conference, but a 2-day conference to work together on a topic like ours today. And in 2016 we had the first Melammu Workshop in Lille. So it was a topic representing the wise, so male and female figures of wisdom. So this was the first Melammu Workshop, and I'm very happy that we are now having the 24th Melammu Workshop already. So this is really a success story. And for me, personally, it is very nice to be back at this institute. So I was here 2 years ago with my dear friend Peter Esbach, so we gave a joint lecture on the connections between Mesopotamia and the Levant from the 3rd to the 1st millennium. So the Levant always played a role in the Mesopotamian sources. So these cedar mountains of Lebanon were always present in the imagination of the Mesopotamians. So, and I'm very happy that it actually worked out to come back to this institute and have a Melammu Workshop here. So in the first place, I want to thank my dear colleagues, so Livio and Florian, who organized this also. As a foreign organizer, you don't have too many obligations, I have to confess. So the work was really with them. And I want to thank Mr. President Mihăilescu for having us here. And as Robert Rollinger unfortunately could not make it, so I brought like a symbol of Robert's work. So Robert actually turned 60 on the 17th of September, so approximately 1 month ago, and we prepared a Festschrift for him. Unfortunately, Robert has a lot of friends who were willing to write something, so it turned out to be a 3-volume Festschrift, and I want to thank you very much. Okay, so thank you very much. I wish us all a nice workshop, and I'm very sure that everything will work out perfectly and we will have very enjoyable 2 days. Okay.